Here's how Wiley Treatment Planners work. You would create a diagnosis for a client the same way that you normally would. And after you add the diagnosis, right before you create a treatment plan, you're going to see a new option. You're going to see Wiley here. The only reason why you wouldn't see the Wiley option available is if you select a diagnosis that we don't have Wiley data for. For example, if you're working with two diagnosis codes and one of the diagnosis codes does not have Wiley data, you're going to see that Wiley is not an option, and you're going to see this tooltip explaining the reason for that. So in such a scenario where you add two diagnosis codes, you would have to create a basic or an advanced treatment plan. If you have two diagnosis codes that do have Wiley, you are going to see the option to create a Wiley treatment plan. So I'm going to create a treatment plan for a single diagnosis just to walk you through the flow. You select Wiley, and the first step that you need to take is to select the presenting problem from the treatment planner you'd like to work with. So this is meant to mimic the manual process of using Wiley treatment planners, where you would have a book and start working from there. So in this case, we have 32 different treatment planners. We have addiction, 5th edition, adolescent psychotherapy, 5th edition, adult psychotherapy, etc. Each one of these represents a book. If you're working with child psychotherapy, for example, and you've selected that diagnosis code, these are the presenting problems that are available in that book for that diagnosis code. Here, if I were to select depression, in this step, you can only select one presenting problem per diagnosis. So I'm going to scroll all the way down and I'm going to continue to behavior. Now in behavior, you will have the option of selecting different options here, as many as you would like. These are check boxes. You can select as many as you need to. For this example, I'm just going to select two, and I'm not looking at which ones I select. I'm just selecting a few random ones just to illustrate how the feature works. Now I'm moving to goals. So for goals, again, if there are more than one available, you can select more than one. I'm just going to select two here, and I'm going to move to objectives. Now, the goals are separated, and you're going to have to select objectives for each one of the goals that you chose. In this case, the first goal is above, and here's the second goal. Again, you can select multiple objectives if you need to. In this case, I'm only going to select one for each one of the goals, and I'm going to move to interventions. So interventions, if there are more than one available, again, you would have the opportunity to select more than one. In this case, there's only one intervention available for the options that I've selected, and I'm going to go to overview. So in overview, you want to check to make sure that the treatment plan looks the way that you want it, and you also enter the treatment frequency. This is just an empty field where you can type whatever you need to type. Now you complete and save the treatment plan. You have the option to print it, to download it. If you are going to print it, this will show you what it would look like. You can also make edits. Another option that you have here is after you've created the treatment plan using Wiley, you now have the ability to edit this treatment plan and add or edit things as you wish. So if you want to be more specific with any of the behavioral definitions or the goals or the objectives, etc., you could do that. You can even add more options down here or remove them as you see fit. So that's another option that you have. And that is how Wiley Treatment Planners work.